And the pitfalls of Nigerian politics, and yet another billowing conflict with the minister of the FCT, the so-called political strongman of Abuja, WIKE, a minister whose opponents describe as increasingly authoritarian, extremely defensive and incredibly unpredictable, a politically assertive, hyper-tough guy intent on building a national conglomerate and creating his political realm within the domain of President Tinubu and the ruling APC, even though he technically belongs to the opposition People's Democratic Party, or PDP. Those are the words of his opponents. So given all this, who's afraid of WIKE? Well, certainly not Senator Ireti Kingibe, who, as FCT senator, is not only the highest elected officer in Abuja after President Tinubu, but has the rather unenviable task of oversighting Minister WIKE, a function that's led to a series of clashes between them. And now it all seems to have come to the edge of a cliff, with no immediate sign of a ceasefire and no let-up in the verbal invectives. So, in the uncertain winds of Nigerian politics, how much of a gale force blast is this? Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by the member of the Senate representing the Federal Capital Territory in the National Assembly, Senator Ireti Kingibe. Good to see you again.
Good evening, Charles.
Thank you very much indeed for coming in. I'm very well, and you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Let me start by asking you for your reaction to the passing of President Buhari.
Well, I would like to condole his family, the nation, FCT, and even myself, because I knew him well. I have always been on the same side. I campaigned with him in 2003, my first election, and also I campaigned with him. Most of the time I've been on Buhari's side, even when I was not in his party. And in 2014, 2015, I was in his personal entourage and campaigned with him to become president. We have lost a president, and in his earlier days, he used to be quite passionate. I think a little bit of that was lost later on. I mean, we all lose our passions from time to time. May his soul rest in peace.
Amen.
And I hope that he will achieve Al-Jannah Fidausi.
Well, let's turn to something a little more passionate, if you like. I mean, what exactly is at the heart of the conflict that's been brewing between yourself and Minister WIKE? Because with all these sort of heated exchanges, it's starting to turn into something of an epic, isn't it? I mean, what are the issues that really challenge your relationship with him?
The primary thing is that the minister he doesn't obey the rule of law. He's autocratic. He doesn't follow any rules or any laws. And when you try to draw his attention that governance is based on laws, the rule of law, he doesn't accept that. The truth is that Abuja does not have as many laws, enabling laws, as most states. And when I tried to talk to other ministers, they said, well, the truth of the matter is that's how it is, but whether we liked the National Assembly members elected by the people of the FCT or not, we worked with them. We sat with them monthly, and they tabled the issues of the people to us. And we also tabled our legislative issues to them. When we needed laws urgently, it was up to them to make the National Assembly pass them. For instance, the FCDA, when it was created, got rid of FCT, which was a ministry, PAMSEX and all. Minister WIKE has brought them all back without the enabling laws. I mean, if he wants these things, he should ask the National Assembly to create the enabling laws. But he doesn't, because he's just autocratic. He feels, I can do anything. Abuja University.
And of course, your job is to oversight.
Exactly.
Right.
And when I say, no, you can't do this. I remember when Erufai was minister, I remember he was having this back and forth with the senator. Why? He put an educational levy on schools for 3,000 naira, and the senator refused, said, no, my people cannot afford that 3,000 naira. And after a while, Erufai took it off because it wasn't worth the harangue, because most ministers like a smooth, synergistic working relationships with their senator and the House of Rep members. And even things that are no-brainers, that obvious. For instance, Abuja University had approximately 11,000 hectares. Minister WIKE has revoked 7,000 of it and left them with 4. It is definitely against the Land Use Act for you to take land from institutions to give them to individuals. Now, a lot of the things that I bring up in public about what Minister WIKE can do or not do would have been best discussed privately. I can say, no, you can't do it, and after a while he will understand it. But as far as he's concerned, nobody should speak in the FCT, and that's not so. So he doesn't leave me much choice but for all these things to be discussed publicly.
You are, of course, elected by the people, as opposed to him, who's appointed by the president. And you are the one that people know, and it is to you that they come to complain. What do they say to you about Nyesom WIKE?
Well,
as the minister in charge of their territory?
Mostly, the average person does not have access to him. But usually when the minister does something and they're offended, they bring it to me. For instance, when he dismissed you in Abuja, every minister has come and found the streets and being cleaned by indigent women. Even when some ministers come and want to bring mechanical street sweepers, we say no, this is a source of livelihood for our indigent women, widows and other underprivileged women, and they let it be. Now, this particular minister has come, and I can go way back. Most ministers have left them. He comes, he's fired them all, regardless of what anybody has said. Then he doesn't replace them with mechanical street sweepers. So Abuja is looking dirty. People will grumble, but it is not my job to grumble. It is my job to oversight him and say, this is not right. You cannot do this. People are not paid. I've tabled that as a public complaint. There are these people called Abuja small indigenous contractors. They're not, and they do contracts of all under 5 million each person. So there's not a lot of money. He came, maybe about 400-500 of them that had not been paid. They didn't think it was a problem because government is a continuum. He says no, he's not paying them. He didn't give them the job, and that's that. And he didn't. 2 years on, they haven't been paid, and that's how he's been governing us. And the pity of it is that he doesn't have executive powers. He derives his powers from the president. He doesn't have any executive powers.
But I mean, there was a person on the street poll that was taken recently, I don't know if you're aware of it, in the FCT. And many ordinary people said they would vote for WIKE if he ran for president based simply on the things that he's done in Abuja. And they said they don't really care if some contracts have been inflated or not. What matters to them is what they can see on the ground. How much is that reality likely to send a message to Mr. WIKE to continue with his influence on things? Because, I mean, let's face it, politics is about symbolism, and it's about people's gut feelings and people's sense of who is bringing in the dividends.
Well, let's put it this way. If truly Minister WIKE is as popular as, I mean, you're talking about that poll, depending on who conducted the poll and how it was conducted. I'm not knocking it, but I am saying, Charles, local government elections are coming in a few months. It's usually from local government, especially ministers in the past. They know how the people feel about them. When we come to any kind of election, can he tell the people, go and do this, and they do it? If he can't, then it means that all that any minister has been doing is blustering and carrying on and just making noise. And
he did suggest that those elections were already in the bag, didn't
Yes, he did, and we are waiting to see how he's going to achieve that.
But when you watch the way that Mr. WIKE has managed to use his flair, if I might call it that, to get to President Tinubu, and the way the president has related to him so far and seems to have no intention of playing hardball with him, how do you analyze how the FCT minister has managed to draw the line between being a member of the opposition PDP and still being able to be not just a great influence on the president, but possibly the greatest influence on him of all the ministers in that cabinet?
Well, it's my personal opinion that is rather unfortunate, because if I were making a list of all the things that President Tinubu has done wrong, The greatest wrong he's done to himself, the thing that has demarketed him the most, has been on Minister WIKE, because FCT is a mini Nigeria. Even people who vote in other places, they live here or they come and go. And when you watch the impunity, it doesn't speak, it doesn't sell this government. The truth, as I say, the people of FCT ab initio were not really hostile to President, because we're not that way inclined. We're not focused on parties. We focus on actions and how did you govern us. But WIKE symbolizes, how do I put this diplomatically? We have been, okay, let me give you an example of people you expect to vote for you. In Buari, there's a land allocated for a government general hospital. Mr. WIKE revokes it, and he's having some sort of a market or mall or something put on it. Now, how do you think a people will feel who expect that at the very least, maybe you'll try and build that general hospital, not take it and give it to your crony? And all these things are documented. They are not done in a hidden manner. It's all open and you can do your worst. Minister WIKE has been harassing all of FCT over ground rent. In fact, he's not giving any time. If you don't pay your 2K that you owe, we will revoke your whole house for 80K or 2K or whatever the ground rent is. It varies from people to people, including embassies. Now, I have documents, and since Minister WIKE is so popular, how come it's so easy to get secret documents of everything that's going on within the FCDA?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously there could be people working with him who are not necessarily very happy with him, but that's not reflective of the general populace.
Now, what I'm trying to say, I have documents to show that when Minister WIKE allocated land to his sons, huge tracts of land, fine, as he says, though they're his sons, they're entitled to land, no problem. But the bills, I have them documented, of 200 million that you need to pay, 100 million here that you need to pay. They wrote to him asking that the bill, he should give a waiver and reduce it. Within 48 hours, they are going from 200 million to 22 million.
And that's illegal, isn't it?
Of course it's illegal.
Right.
At the very least, it's unfair, it's unethical, at the very least. And these things, I am a civil engineer, I'm a fact person. I wouldn't come here I wouldn't say so publicly without having the facts and the documentation.
So in that regard, should he be afraid of you? Because, I mean, you've got oversight over him, or are you afraid of him?
I'm definitely not afraid of him. I'm not saying he should be afraid of me. I'm just saying that considering he should be aware that most things he does, I will know.
So what are you going to do with those documents?
Oh, I'm going to take those documents and go to the body, the equivalent of his state assembly, and insist that that assembly, the president from whom WIKE derives his powers, goes back to the National Assembly for approval for everything. And WIKE, who is deriving powers from him, does not go to the National Assembly for anything except budget. TSA, all his IGR, what has he done with it? He's never accounted for anything. How are the money spent? Nothing. Even the person, you cannot get more powers than the person from whom you are deriving your powers. So it is now time for more serious oversight of the minister. Not just me,
right.
The whole body.
But I mean, beyond the propriety of what you're trying to do, surely widening a war with Nyesom WIKE is risky, isn't it? I mean, even though I know you're not going to allow yourself to be intimidated by him, but you have total moral clarity on this and on holding both an offensive and defensive line against him?
Well, some people were saying, oh, don't shout, don't complain. That's what I was elected for. If I cannot speak, then I might as well just resign my seat. That's the way I see it. Secondly, yes, the other day I was coming back I went for oversight to Sokoto, and on the way back, a black Jeep was following me almost all the way home. I told my driver when he pointed it out to me. Yes, I said, what's the problem? Because it was a night. He said, a black car has been following us. I said, from when? He said, since we left the airport. I said, okay, don't go home. Just go to a busier Ghana streets. And after a while, I told him park, and then the Jeep passed. But the truth is, I'm a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I have rights.
Indeed.
And I do not think that even with WIKE's impunity, that he would try to harm me for saying you cannot do A, B, C, D. There's the
Well, there's no allegation against him that he's
I'm not alleging anybody.
So,
I'm not afraid. It's God who protects. I have security more than the average person, and normal people go around and they get home safely. The UBEB Act of 2003 has free, compulsory, universal basic education for FCT. But the children of, is it implemented? Is there funding for it? No. These things are not optional. They are statutory. So if WIKE, and that's why I'm amused that WIKE decided he's picking his own senator, different from the one that was elected. The least the senator can do is tell him that you must do A, B, C, D. It is not a question of choice. Do you understand?
Yes. Is there a way? Is there a way to work with him? Because ultimately, what people of the FCT and all of us want, and presumably you want, is good governance. And
Exactly.
there'll be better governance for the FCT if both of you work well together.
That is so. But I cannot force him. Even letters are not responded to. At least if I write, and it's my job to do so, to say A, B, C, D, I think you should do A, B, and C. The very least I expect is, even if he's too big to respond, he would have an aide who can write back to say, well, Senator Kingibe, we received your letter about so issue, and maybe we can talk about it, or no, we're still going to do it that way. And I can also tell him why, quote the laws that stop him from doing those things.
Well, I hope this gets sorted out as quickly as possible, because as we said, governance is the priority.
That is true.
We've just got about 2-3 minutes left. Let's turn briefly to you and your political direction going forward. I understand that you've defected from the fantastically beleaguered Labour Party to the new ADC coalition party. That's a fact, isn't it?
Well, I will defect,
Right.
but I haven't officially done so
But
yet.
have you left the Labour Party?
You always
Well,
seem
you'd have to leave and go to another
yeah,
party,
but
don't
you
you?
all
Right.
seem to forget that for some months now I have been partyless. If I go by a faction of Labour that says they've suspended me, but since there are two factions, our faction has also said we've suspended and expelled the other faction. So there are two clear factions of Labour Party. Untenable situation for any person seeking political office. So obviously, I will defect, but I would like to do so with other senators who are.
But your direction is to the ADC.
Oh, definitely.
But is it very hard to ascertain what the coalition, that ADC coalition, stands for at the moment, beyond wanting to get rid of President Tinubu?
Well, you see, it's an evolving movement. For me, more urgently, I needed my aspirants in the FCT to have a party. We are going to area council elections. So we cannot be, at least the Labour Party aspirants cannot be in two different factions. So right now we have, all the aspirants have taken cards in APC, they've taken tickets in ADC, and also we have a huge influx of FCT politicians joining the ADC. So we are preparing and gearing up for a major battle with APC come 2026.
Well, it'll be good. It'll be great to sort of stand and observe, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Thank you very much indeed. Senator Ireti Kingibe is the member of the Senate representing the Federal Capital Territory in the National Assembly. Great to see you again.